All right, so you're someone who's been squatting with hip pain now for a week, month, maybe even several months or going on a year. Poor git if you've been going for longer than a year with hip pain when squatting. But you don't want to stop squatting, but you don't want to keep squatting in pain. What's the solution? I'm sure like a lot of people have looked online, typed in on articles and YouTube videos, and there's a lot of stuff out there, but there's a lot of conflicting messages, right? Like, do this stretch, do this one mobility drill, you know, do this one exercise, this one program is gonna get you there. But they're all like small segments, right? Small little components for building up this solution for you to have. And without sounding too cheesy, I have it. And I use this exact same process with myself and with all of my other lifters, and I'm going to give you a real life example of a girl called Jerusha. She just finished a powerlifting competition, had a whole prep. She was squatting with pain, like anterior pinching pain, you know, her hip flexors were all jacked up, and she just couldn't find an answer, right? I got things here, she was stretching her hip flexors all the time. That's one thing a lot of people give out nowadays. Foam rolling them constantly, you know, doing all these other funky stretches and getting massage and all this stuff. Spent a lot of money trying to get it done, but still at competition she had to squat with pain. So she comes out of competition, she reaches out to me and says, look, I've got to get rid of this. She knows one of my current lifters, and the first thing that I told her, which I'm going to tell you guys, you need to understand why it's happening. Once you understand why it's happening, you can then start to believe in the things that I'm going to tell you even more. And it'll start to make sense in your head, and you can start to understand why I give particular warm-up drills, why I get someone to do you know, particular movement patterns and give particular accessory exercises. It's all towards understanding why, what the cause is, and treating the cause, not just treating the symptom. So let's start with why it's happening. If you're someone 9 times out of 10, you're getting hip pain, it's not just after one session, right? It's built up over time, and then you get the pain, and then it keeps going and going and going and getting worse and worse. So what's happening is, as you're squatting down, your knees, you'll find your knees will internally rotate, your thighs will internally rotate, and after a while, your hip flexors will start getting what people call, like, you know, the terminology, it's not the terminology, but they'll get jacked up, right? They'll get tight, they'll get sore, they'll get inflamed, you know, even just walking around becomes a chore. So after a while, this becomes a big problem. So if you're someone who's squatting at the moment and yeah, you're getting knee valgus, you'll get hip internal rotation inside your squatting from front on, you can see it, you might not be able to achieve depth. We need to get rid of it ASAP, but understand that is like 9 times out of 10, that's the cause. And it's not just after one time, it's constantly, like long periods of squatting like this. So what not to do? Stop stretching your damn hip flexors, just stop it. When people think, okay, my hip flexors are tight, for some reason, and it's probably from learning shit years ago and people not learning new stuff nowadays, is they think, oh, tight hip flexors, okay, I'll stretch them. Well, imagine your hip flexor as a rubber band, right? Picture a rubber band, stretch the living shit out of it, right? To the point where it's as tight as it can be. That's your hip flexor. Why on earth would you want to stretch it even more? Right? You're just going to do more damage. Eventually, like, that could be the reason why it tears. Stop trying to stretch what people consider a tight muscle and think of the muscle as it might need strengthening. Right? And I run through exercises where we strengthen the hip flexor, but by not directly targeting it, right? So first thing is stop stretching them. The second thing, stop rolling them out all the time. I understand the temporary relief, you know, you roll your hip flexors, you're like, oh yeah, my hips feel a little bit looser. You get under the barbell, sweet. You get up to your next bit of weight, excellent. But then by the time you start getting close to your working weight, the pain comes back. Why? You've rolled out the quad, you've rolled out the glutes and hamstrings. Yeah, cool, they're a little bit more relaxed, but you're still getting that internal rotation of the hip and knee valgus, which means the hip flexors are still going to be taking the load. The muscles around the hips and the legs, such as like the quads, the glutes, the adductors, they're not doing their job. They're not stabilizing the pelvis. Rolling them out isn't going to help with that. So if you continue still getting this significant pain and you're doing those things, stop them, waste of time. Now let me get into the, you know, kind of like the 3 phases or the 3 things I run Jerusha through. The first thing is I changed her warm-up drills, okay? The way you want to consider warm-up drills is not just standing there stretching. It pisses me off to my back teeth how undervalued a warm-up is, right? I don't mean warm up under the barbell, like pre that, okay? People will often foam roll their trigger point. Really, it gets you nowhere. The way I want you to start looking at your warm up drills is you're priming your body and your joints and your muscles, your ligaments and tendons to run through the same range and movement as what you'll be performing on that day. So if you're performing a barbell back squat, you want to take your body, your joints and muscles, etc., through similar ranges and through similar patterns. So the first thing that I got Jerusha to do was a banded wall sit. Now, banded wall sits are a great exercise because it runs through the exact same pattern, motor pattern, as the squat itself. So you think lean up against the wall, you have to, the cue I give is turn your quads out, and then you're gonna squat down to just below parallel, holding that position, and inside of that position, you wanna make sure that you're feeling your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, your adductors, those muscle of the legs and hips taking the load. You don't want to feel your hip flexors taking the load and getting jacked up. And the purpose of it is for you to create tension in those muscles and then hold that tension the whole way down and the whole way up. And what you can do, because you're taking it so slow and it's more of a bodyweight movement, you'll be able to watch and see the point where your body wants to shift back to where it's most comfortable, like what it knows. And you resist that and you don't let your knees and thighs roll in. It's not a case of pushing them out, it's a case of stopping them from going in, okay? So the banded wall squat is a great exercise. You can find it on my YouTube page if I haven't put it in this video already. The second thing, your core, right? I'm just gonna say your core. Your core is another big reason, or another big component, should I say, to stabilizing the pelvis, right? From stopping it from anteriorly pelvic tilting, posteriorly pelvic tilting, and then any kind of like shifts and rotations through the pelvis. So we need to make sure that you understand breathing and bracing, okay? Because it has an impact on, the stability aspect or the rigidity of both the torso as well as the hips. So a simple breathing and bracing drill will help you. If you don't know how to breathe and brace, again, go onto my YouTube channel and just click in breathing and bracing. There is a video there. But you need to understand the feeling of a brace. It's not just as simple as taking a breath in and then squeezing the shit out of your abs. That's not bracing. You might be worth going and Googling the Valsalva maneuver. That's essentially what it is. It's a build up of pressure inside of the abdominals. And you want to make sure as you take a big air in, you're trying to force that air out, but you're not allowing it to escape, creating intra-abdominal pressure. Your job then is, once you've got that tension, just hold it. Just hold it throughout the whole squat. So running through drills that help you stabilize the hips and running through drills that help you stabilize the core and ultimately your pelvis, you're shifting the tension away from your hip flexors and into those surrounding muscles, those big muscles, glutes, quads, hamstrings, the core itself, making sure that they are stabilizing, not the hip flexors. So those are the main two warm-up drills that I gave her, and I got her to master them. Because it's not a case of throwing 50 fucking exercises at you. It's about you mastering one or two things that will have a huge impact on the movement you're performing on the day. The final thing I got her to run through during her warm-ups was her foot position. Okay, so she would stand quite narrow, kind of like hip width. I tend to like my lifters to stand shoulder width, if not just outside of their shoulder width. And this just allows a little bit more freedom for them to squat into without causing any kind of imbalances. Imbalance is the wrong word. I'll call it leaks in energy to happen, where it can be very, very difficult if you're trying to do all the right things, but you're already standing in the wrong position, right? So what I would recommend is you make sure that you're standing shoulder width, if not just wider than shoulder width, and then performing those same drills as standing there, rotating your quads out, feeling the muscles around the glutes and the hips contract, brace, hold that feeling the whole way down, hold that feeling the whole way up. So that was the first thing that I changed, right? Her warm-up drills and thinking about the feeling she needs to create in particular muscle groups. And then the next thing is taking that over to the barbell. So step number two, the thing you want to look at there is, once you understand the feeling that you're looking to chase through your warm-up drills, you then want to then carry that over with the same intent under the barbell. And I don't mean with your working weights, I mean from the barbell, right? Get under the barbell, perform the same movements. what I would suggest you do, which I've done with Jerusha, is take your time during them. I always like to add a tempo to my warm-up sets. No fucking like sets of 8 or this kind of bollocks. I'll give you like sets of 5 under the bar, then 4, 3, doubles, singles, probably at your working weight by then, right? So 5 reps with the bar, then you go to 4 reps. For me, it'd be like 75 kilos. Hit 4 reps like that. But what I'm doing is I'm performing a 2-second tempo down and kind of like a 1 to 2 second tempo up. Right? And there again, same thing I'm doing. I'm creating the feeling of the brace, creating tension in my hips, and I'm holding that feeling the whole way down and the whole way up. You just have to be very, very careful when you're performing your warm-ups. So you don't treat them just as like, oh, something to get to my working weight. You have to do it with the same intent, and you're figuring out, you're feeling out your body. Is there anywhere else that I might need to loosen up first? Do I need to go back and perform these drills again? Just make sure that you're not rushing your warm-up sets. So that's the second thing. It's all about taking the same feelings that you had in your warm-up drills and then applying them to the barbell and applying them to your working sets. Now just on that, one thing that I will often do with lifters who experience pain is don't get yourself doing sets of 8 to 10. Like, it's just fucking stupid. Like, fatigue can creep in. You know what I mean? So it might just be the case of you're trying something new, you're teaching your body how to stabilize in a new way and strengthen in a new way, but yet you're gassing the shit out of it because you're performing reps of 8 to 10. Let's say you do 4 sets of 10. Why don't you just do like 8 sets of 5? There's no reason why you can't. It's still the same amount of volume, but the thing is you're eliminating that fatigue to creep in. You might not even want to do 5s. You can do like 6s, for example. Do you know? Just your goal at the moment should not be to, you know, put on as much weight as possible. It should be to eliminate or reduce pain. Same thing as you can always pick up that volume that's missed in your main squats and you can apply it to your accessories to keep the volume high. You know, just think about these things. These are the same things that I spoke to Jerusha about, I speak to all of my lifters about, is there's always a solution outside of just adding more weight to the bar and doing a shitload more reps. So just understand that when you're performing your working sets, if you do find that the reason why your hip pain might be coming back or you're finding leaks in energy, it is because it might be fatigue creeping in. Strip back the weight, strip back the reps, maybe add a couple more sets and just execute on squatting with minimal to no pain. All right, so that's step number 2. Step 3 are your accessories. Okay, so these are just as important as the squat itself, in my opinion. And the reason for that is if you're getting hip pain when squatting, but then after performing these drills, you're starting to see some improvement, you need to, it's just repetition. You need to keep repeating that same, not movement or that same exercise like a low bar back squat, but that taking the hips through that same range as closely as possible without so much fatigue creeping in. So for example, you can go from a low bar back squat. I gave Jerusha 3 different accessories over 3 months. There was a high bar squat with a tempo. There was a safety squat bar with again a tempo exercise. I would often give tempos to people. And then we've just done low bar back squatting. So low bar back squatting, back off sets with low bar back squat because she no longer feels pain anymore. It's probably something I should have said at the start of this video. But yeah, so after she got eliminated pain, after the first 2 training blocks, after like months and months and months of having pain, we can now put her into low bar back squats on her accessories. But then for your other movements, think of like the leg press. Now, if you picture the leg press for a second, you think, okay, what's the movement that my hips, knees, and ankles have to perform? Oh wait, it's very, very close to the same movement pattern as the squat itself. Okay, so if I just perform the exact same cues of, again, rotating my quads out, get a brace, feel that tension inside of my lower body, then hit the leg press. It's a great tool. It is a great tool, right? It's the right tool for the right job, and that's what you need to consider. Another great exercise, goblet squats, right? It says in the name, squats, goblet squats. You're just, again, reducing the load that you need to use, and you can still target that same movement pattern. Moving down from there, I recommend going to unilateral exercises, so you're targeting the individual limb, making sure that you're creating strength and stability inside of each leg there. And you can do that with lunges, heel elevated lunges, anything like that. Pick one, play with it. Just make sure you find one that works for you and you're still making sure that your knees and hips are not rotating in. So those are exercises, the accessories that I gave for the legs. Remember at the start I also mentioned the core. So with core exercises, you don't need to be doing sit-ups, you don't need to be doing fucking side bends and all this bollocks. There's a couple of exercises, four in this case, that I'll give people, and you won't need any more core exercises after this, right? Because these will just tear your abs to shreds. But let me just explain why you need to be doing core in the first place. People often overlook the damn thing. You need to be doing core exercises so that you understand the feeling and the rigidity you need to create in your lower torso there to avoid extension of the spine. So think of the duck bum, right? Extending that spine. You want to resist flexion, so imagine like bending over a rounded spine, and you want to resist rotation. Okay, so pick exercises that help you do that. The 4 exercises that I enjoy: ab rollouts, right? Where you can change the range at which you work with. You get people who go touch their nose to the floor. That's me, been doing them for years. Or you've got people who only perform half the range. But at the end of the day, as long as they're able to hold that neutral spine, that rigid torso, excellent, because that way there, you start to understand and your body learns how to create strength inside of that position that you're trying to create. It then carries over to the squat. So ab rollouts, fantastic. Body saws, fantastic. Side planks, also fantastic. And then the Copenhagen planks, also another fucking fantastic. It is an ab exercise. It's also very healthy for the adductors as well, but I do include it inside core because it can be like a variation of a side plank. And it is another fantastic exercise. You get people who squat like 200-300 kilos and you get them to do a Copenhagen plank and they get like 10 to 15 seconds max. It is a very difficult exercise. So that there was a real life example of what I run Jerusha through. It is my system and what I use as a big overview. Like there are some other little bits and bobs in there, but what I really wanted to take were the main components and share them with you and go, okay, if you watch this video back again and you look at the warm-up drills that I supply, right, and you become a master at those, then you think about your intent under the barbell and when you're squatting and not chasing fatigue and just trying to blitz yourself, but you're chasing to reduce the pain and create better movement patterns. And then the third thing is think of your accessory exercises and continue to execute inside of those there. Take that system, use it and apply it. What I'm now going to do, if I haven't already, is I'm going to give you a couple of videos of Jerusha and show you how she started versus where she is now. I believe one of the videos she's squatting like 30 kilos. Maybe 40 kilos, and she can't even get to depth, right? She's like quarter squatting because the pain is so severe. 3 months later, I'm pretty sure I just done a review on one of her videos. She's squatting like 90 kilos pain-free, which I believe is very close to her 1 rep max. And she's squatting it for maybe 4 or 5 reps to depth. Looks fucking fantastic. So this process here doesn't take that long, okay? She's been pain-free for the last 4 or 5 weeks. It took us maybe like 6 to 8 weeks to get her completely pain-free. But throughout that time, the pain was getting less and less and less, and the better her squat became. So have a think about that. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. If you'd like to speak to me directly, or I'm more than happy to look over one of your videos and give you some advice. Hit me up on my Instagram, which is Black Dan Barbell. You can hit me up on my Facebook page, that is Black Dan Barbell. Or if you'd like to come to one of our physical locations, I say one of our, I have one. It is in G-Bung. Hit us up on any of the socials and we can arrange a technique session from there. Guys, just make sure though that do not rush this process. Consistency is key. You can make sure that you're squatting pain-free and hit bigger personal bests inside of your squat if you just pull back for a second, apply these principles, and then attack it a little bit later. But I'll speak to you on the next episode.